We're here at the Web 2.0 Summit in San Francisco. I'm with Matthew Mengerink, who is the general manager of, X.Commerce at eBay.
X.Commerce. Everyone always forgets the dot.
.commerce. All right. So that won't actually resolve online, is what you're saying.
Right. Okay. X.com, all good to go.
Okay. We're going to avoid that suffix, though. I want to stay away from that. So people know about e-commerce. That's pretty old school. M-commerce is the hot thing with mobile phones. X.Commerce is?
Actually, I would say the dropping of the prefix. So if we look at commerce as a whole, the notion that there's these differentiated channels where people spend all kinds of time is either future myth or just a past reality. Today, with the mobile phones and the advancements there, people are online while they're offline all the time. So to talk about the differences anymore, I think is almost passé. I would just say that there's commerce and technology is a dominant force within it.
Okay, so John Donahoe was here and said that the barrier between retail and e-commerce is just crumbling. Like
Absolutely.
You're basically saying, well, it's down in some senses. And maybe say that here in the Valley, in San Francisco, I wonder if that's true across the country.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, if you go over and you start talking about mobile use in Kenya, they have more mobile use in a financial context in Kenya than they do here. Why? Well, if you look at the networks that are there, and just looking at raw physical lines, the point-of-sale devices couldn't be built over those. So they've built mobile. So the advancement is very, very rapid. So our intuition is to think that in smaller countries or in emerging markets that there's less technology, but in fact they're more cutting edge because there's nothing there yet. So they're adopting things in the current space. So when we start talking about mobile being that thing that's a computer everywhere, the fact that these new markets are opening up and the smartphones are distributing far faster, you just see very visibly that the technology adoption in a commerce space, in a counterintuitive sense, is actually accelerating and isn't resisting as it was just even 2 years ago.
So, and look at Kenya, you see M-Pesa, the mobile payment platforms, right? So in that case, they managed to solve a problem that people had doing electronic payment transfer through mobile phones. This is something that eBay is interested in.
Yes.
And for good reason. You're a gigantic marketplace for all kinds of goods. I think we heard something like thousands of cars are now being sold on eBay every week.
Yeah.
So that means you've got to put in some pretty interesting infrastructure around privacy, identity, security, et cetera. How does the world of X.Commerce get supported in terms of what you're working on, and what are the problems yet to be solved?
Yeah. So it's a very complex multi-body problem.
Okay.
But I'll say there's 3 primary players and then 3 minority players. The primary are these merchants and the consumers coming together and interacting. And then the third person in that one is the developer. And again, sounds counterintuitive, but the merchants aren't attracting the massive developer talent to work in their stores. Moreover, they can't really afford a several hundred person organization, but they need that diversity of talent, they need that diversity of technology. So the developers are starting to come in this open platform model and having a direct relationship with the developers. And then you see that the technical relationship between consumers and merchants changing dramatically by the use of this. Then the supporting cast, you start seeing something like the assets of eBay Inc., their partners, and then this open commerce ecosystem, which is represented by X.Commerce. So if we talk about the protection, you've got PayPal laced into the commerce operating system. We just released PayPal Access, which is an identity. So now people can be secured knowing that these consumers are exactly who they say they are, with the backing financials and the authenticity of their commerce profile being PayPal. And that's available to all merchants. Now, if you talk about the developers taking these assets like Milo, Where, open APIs against it, they have these local tools, these mobile tools, with a backing infrastructure that they couldn't build overnight. But now these are all sort of the Legos that they have available to them, and they're bringing that in and customizing it with the merchant. So the way that the merchant looks at this whole ecosystem that we've brought together is a very easy place to come in and to advance on these mega trends. And you asked, what's in front of us? So if we have this huge basis, what else do we need? Well, as it turns out, merchants have to differentiate. If everybody had the exact same store, it would be a roll of the dice where you go into.
Can we be it on price, maybe service, whatever.
Right. And brand makes a huge difference. The shopping experience. I mean, we've all gone into an Apple retail store and gone, where's the cash register? Right? That very first time, you were confused. Where's the line? How do I check out? Now, you stand in line at someplace else and you're like, oh, please, I don't want to wait in lines anymore. I've seen something better. That advancement came through technology. Merchants are now really excited about going beyond the horizon, just in a narrow view, to get ahead of their competition. So if you look at that, that's the diversity of the developers, that's their opportunity. And if you look at the size of that, just look at the size of the X.Commerce developer community, which includes PayPal, eBay, Magento, and others. Right now, Forrester's reported that it's $1 billion plus that they're making, the developers, building against this platform. That's a phenomenal opportunity for them. But it also tells you something very important, which is that merchants are buying. They're buying into technology, they're buying into these technologists in an open ecosystem. So to me, the future that's really exciting to me is radical innovation in a space that has been, without anything very exciting going on directly. People were more excited about the games and the advertisement than they were the merchants themselves.
So this is a reminder that in a platform world, getting developers to build on your platform is a really big deal.
Oh, huge!
And certainly giving them ample rewards for doing so is something that you've clearly been able to relate. And so here's the last question: what are some of the most exciting things that they're creating that solve problems for merchants, or help brands distinguish themselves, or create a better experience for customers?
Let's take Kenshu, a very early adopter of the X.Commerce platform. It really helped us expand on the fabric that we created. They're now looking at creating one-click campaigns, literally an inference engine that works against your inventory and figures out how to monetize it and expand it and grow it, where you just put money in and it tells you how much money you're going to get back out. Imagine for a small merchant who doesn't understand all the nuances of a multi-channel world that says, here's a platform that allows me to be connected, but more importantly, here's this partner that comes in, Kenshu. I have an independent relationship with it. eBay's not skimming any money off of the top of this one. It's just a nice, honest relationship, but it simplifies their world and it grows their business. Now, some people say that that's not terribly exciting, but to me, protecting these mom and pop stores and giving them the tools and the data, the same simplicity that they need to be able to operate their business, and in a cost structure that they can afford, and at the level of integrity of any major merchant in the industry, that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, that's a good place to leave it for you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.